What's up YouTube? I'm Cold Spaghetti, and today I will be sharing my full comprehensive guide on how to make a level 11 Fury Warrior Twink for Timewalking. Keep in mind this process will take you very little time. I recently made 2 of these fully geared Twinks in less than 24 hours each. I made both of these characters during the 20th anniversary event, but I have adjusted the appropriate information to match what is available during this new Turbulent Timeways event that is happening right now. I will continue to release new Twink videos with updated information as long as the event goes on and people seem interested. This guide is meant to help you understand why this particular build works the way it does, instead of just handing you a spreadsheet with wowhead links that teaches you very little out of context. That being said, let's go over all the things that you'll need to make a level 11 Fury Warrior Twink. Starting off, this build does require some specific items and enchantments. So I'd like to take this time to tell you everything you're going to need for this Twink. First, you will need a level 11 warrior that is experience locked. Very simple. I usually make an allied race, do a quest or two, ding once, call it a day. Since they start at level 10, this is my preferred strategy, but you can easily use a character that starts at level 1 if you don't have any allied races unlocked. Next, we have to lock your experience. Come to this location in the Stormwind Keep for Alliance, or this location in the Valley of Honor for Horde. Talk to the little ninja boy and he should have a prompt offering to eliminate all experience gained. This is an instant process, it costs 10 gold and it can be reversed at any time at the same NPC. Now that you're level 11 with experience locked, you're ready to head out into the world and start gearing up. The order in which you collect each piece of gear is entirely up to you. Some of you watching have extra accounts where you can run yourself through dungeons pretty easily, while others have to recruit a friend to help them. I'm going to explain this as if you have 0 friends and only 1 account to work with. Feel free to edit this process however you feel fit. The first item that you're going to want to farm is weapons. For these, I'd suggest any 2-handed weapons with high top end damage. For this week of the event, I'd suggest either of the 2 weapons from Scholomance. Both of these hit harder than any other weapon in the current Timewalking rotation. You can farm these pretty easily by queuing up as a DPS or as a normal non-twinked tank and setting your loot spec to Fury or Arms. While farming these weapons, you're also going to acquire other pieces of item level 60 Timewalking gear. You're going to want to equip these. These high item level pieces are perfect placeholders until you start to acquire your much preferred socketed gear. Now that you have your weapons, you can buy your first enchantment, Life Stealing. This enchantment helps a ton with keeping you alive in solo or group content, and it is an integral part of this build. Take note, the damage and healing provided from this enchant scales with versatility, and it can also crit. With both your weapons enchanted, it's time to start farming socketed gear from Burning Crusade dungeons. You can do this by either queuing up for them in the Dungeon Finder, utilizing Chromie's ability to change your active timeline, or you can potentially solo these old dungeons using your new Timewalking gear and weapons. For many item slots, there are multiple options for gear with 2 to 3 sockets. I wouldn't worry too much about getting the perfect piece. Just get something that has 3 sockets when possible and 2 sockets when it isn't. Items for your shoulder, chest, hands, belt, legs, and feet will all come from dungeons. These dungeons are the Underbog, the Slave Pens, Hellfire Ramparts, and the Blood Furnace. Your helmet, easy enough, will come from a quest called Saving the Sporlocks in Zangar Marsh. I will put a link in the description to a gearing guide that will show you specific pieces if you feel that you're struggling to locate the gear that I'm talking about. Next on this list is trinkets. Both can be found in the Warlords of Draenor expansion. The first being Greca's dentures. These are found by simply opening a treasure at this location in Shadowmoon Valley. The next is called Gruck's Evil Eye, and it drops off of a rare in Frostfire Ridge. He can be found at this location. Both of these trinkets have a chance to roll epic quality when acquired, so best of luck on your drops, guys. Next is your neck slot. This drops off of a rare in Dragonflight's Azure Span at this location. Notice that it doesn't have any sockets on it when it first drops. This is fine, and we will circle back to it. The last items that you will need are going to be your rings. This step can be a little buggy when doing it solo, but it's not impossible. First, you will head over to the Necrotic Wake and run the entire dungeon. There are 2 rings that drop in this dungeon off of the first and last bosses. The reason it's buggy is sometimes these rings drop with a level requirement of 50 and are therefore useless to us. I can't say that I figured out a perfect way to fix this in solo play. I found it was best to go back to Chromie and keep swapping between your present timeline and the Shadowlands timeline until it worked, or bring a friend with you. It seemed to me that even when your group leader was receiving drops for the wrong level, the other members received them for the proper level. Now again, these rings don't have sockets on them yet, but we can fix that later. Any gear slots where socketed gear isn't available, you can fill with any piece of item level 60 Timewalking gear that has your preferred stats. Once you're ready to start socketing gems and further enchanting your gear, head over to the auction house. First, let's purchase all of our gems. You're going to need 1 straddling jewel doublet, 1 revitalizing jewel doublet, 4 Shadowlands gems of your choice. I prefer haste. And roughly 18 bold crimson spinels. Don't socket anything yet, as some require a little bit of finesse. I'll come back to this in a moment. As far as enchants, I took strength and movement speed enchants whenever possible. I don't like to stress the specific enchants in this build, but just know that any enchants at this low of a level have a pretty decent impact on your character's power scaling, and I encourage people to try whatever they feel is going to be the most fun. Lastly, we need to buy sockets for our neck and rings. This is done through tiered medallion settings and magnificent jeweler settings. Both can be purchased on the auction house. The tiered medallion setting comes in 3 different tier options: gold, silver, and bronze. You're going to want to purchase 2 silver and 1 gold. Make sure when applying these to your neck that you apply the gold one last. The magnificent jeweler settings for your rings require nothing special to apply. Buy 4 of these because we can add 2 sockets to each ring. Now that we have all of our sockets, let's start placing gems. I've heard of a lot of people having issues with the Shadowlands gems not stacking properly, and the way that I found to circumvent this issue is to place each of your Shadowlands gems in a different piece of socketed gear. Considering we only have 6 Shadowlands gems in this build and 10 different pieces of socketed gear, this should be a non-issue. Your pure strength gems will fill all of the remaining slots. Lastly, your talents will look like this. Easy. Guess what? You're all twinked out and ready to blast. The reason this build works so well is due to the fact that Fury Warrior, specifically low level ones, scale extremely well with strength. Considering we only have 1 charge and no heroic leap at level 11, the movement speed gems really speed up your dungeon clear times. 49% movement speed is the base cap, and you should easily reach that with this build. The revitalizing jewel gives you a heal back to full HP every 10 seconds, which definitely feels like overkill, but there will be times in these dungeons when you get stunned and therefore cannot keep yourself alive via lifesteal. This gem will save you more than you think. As far as the rotation goes, it's very simple. For most trash, you're gonna spam Whirlwind and watch the crits fly. For bosses or stronger single target mobs, you will use Bloodthirst on cooldown and Slam to fill, or Whirlwind to fill if there's more than 1 target present. I'd like to take a quick minute to discuss the practical uses for this twink, other than running at Mach 10 and feeling like a badass who can almost one-shot everything. The first and most practical is farming Timewalking dungeons. Whether you're farming badges for yourself or others, or trying to complete some of the more tedious Timewalking achievements, this character will definitely get the job done. You can also use this character to help power level your friends or randoms. Keep in mind that if you were to queue into a dungeon while in a normal party, anyone grouped with you is going to have a massive XP nerf due to the locked experience from the beginning of this video. There are some clever workarounds to this, but some of them border on exploitative behavior and can definitely get your account suspended or even banned, depending on how Blizz views your particular account's standing. Due to that fact, I will not go into any further details, nor will I condone this behavior. Do feel free to boost people in random dungeon queues till your heart's content, as this wouldn't be breaking any rules. Which brings me to my final point: ethics in dungeon carries. There are going to be many people who are eternally grateful to enter their time walking dungeon and see a level 11 absolutely dumpstering every boss and mob. However, some people don't like this, and that's perfectly okay. Some people find it boring to sit back and play passenger princess while somebody else gets all the glory. Just know that they aren't wrong for feeling this way. We all play the game differently, and everybody's playstyle should be respected. Don't be that carry who pulls the entire dungeon to the last boss before killing a single mob. Your group cannot get XP from kills if they're dead. Be considerate. If somebody politely asks you to go a little out of your way and kill a side boss to finish a dungeon quest, check your calendar. If you can spare another 30 seconds to help somebody clear an extra mob or two, I'm sure that they are going to be grateful and are going to be more likely to pass on that kindness to the next person. On that note, guys, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'm live every night on Twitch, and I'll include a link for that in the description as well. If you made it this far, consider dropping a like on this video and maybe even subscribe if you like my content. You can also leave a comment down below with any questions or feedback. Thanks again. I'll see you all real soon. Both of these trinkets have a chance to roll epic quality when acquired, so best of luck. Nah, I don't like that.